this very moment from the newswire. It sounds like there's a horse smell in this room all the time, and from all of us at MRC Nightly News, we are very sorry for the pain that you experience daily. With my reporter in the field, I'd like to invite Devorah Altoniga with What's Funny.
I can introduce myself. I'm not. Oh, I need a mic. I need no mic. My background as an actress, I can project. Baruch Hashem. Okay. Hi. So yes, I'm Devorah. My full name is Devorah Yaakova Altoniga, which seems very shayach for me. It's like dramatic. It has a lot of syllables, which kind of makes sense with my personality. So what is this? What am I doing? Basically, my background is as an actress and as a teacher. And when I came to Midrash Rachel a few years ago, I met the lovely Sharon Katz. Did you do a Shabbaton again? Sharon Katz? People know Sharon Katz? Anyway, she's awesome. She lives in Efrat and she does like a whole bunch of performance stuff for women. So I immediately developed this professional crush on her and met with her. And she was like, Devorah, you gotta do comedy. I was like, I do comedy? She's like, for sure, just talk about your life and people will laugh. Hilarious stuff happens to you. So I was like, okay. So that's what I do. So it's really exciting to be here for the spiel, to see the faces that I know of the MRC family. The new faces, also really exciting. I love this place. I have such warm memories of this place, so much growth. And I'm a proud alum. I'm a proud Balash Tuba. To those of you that are more recently joining the MRC family, I want to give you a piece of advice that someone gave me that I wish I had taken more seriously at the time that it was given to me. And that is, when you're learning, if you don't know stuff, don't pretend that you do. Okay? Like, I remember I just wanted people to think I was really from, like, I didn't know what the environment was like. So I remember I asked a question and someone was like, oh, it's the difference between Durabanan and Deraisa. And I was like, right. That makes perfect sense. I totally know what both of those words mean, and you just cleared up my whole question. Thank you. I had no idea. So I got over that. The first time I went to the Shurins, I sat at the table and I was like, Rabbi Shurin, what is dafka? What is this word that people keep using in college? Yeah, and you know, the hardest thing I think is with the holiday greetings at first. Like, people come up to you and say something in completely indecipherable Hebrew, and you've got your like MRC sheet like of what to say at holidays, and you're like, Lishanat. You know what? Whatever you just said, same to you also. Does that work? Yeah. So that's I think a universal challenge, like the Hebrew struggle. But I think we also have unique challenges. So for me, some of you are gonna understand what I'm talking about. I'm germophobic, like naturally. It's my natural state. I don't like germs. And at Shabbos tables, I was introduced to a concept that I still struggle with to this day, but it's getting easier. When you wash, and there's the communal towel. And you have like 30 people all using the same towel, and inevitably there's like little 3-year-old Moishe using his finger up his nose, half the kiddish, and everyone's like, oh, you're so cute, Moishe, with your tealess Yadayim, and he's wiping his smelly fingers. So, I developed in my journey coping mechanisms for how to deal with this that might not have been apparent, but I'd like to just share with you now because I'm feeling open and adar and stuff. So there's the use the corner of the towel method, because not many people, thank you, not many people use the corner. So it's like safe to use the corner, except that then your hands aren't really dry. So you gotta kind of air dry, but then you can look really firm. You can be like, oh, that's my method. Or you can wipe it on your clothes, which you have to be a little more, subtle about, because otherwise it just looks kind of weird. But the last, which is by far the sneakiest and the one I'm proudest of, is the wipe on the tablecloth. When the tablecloth extends, you just sit down, you give it a quick little wipe, no one knows the difference. Yep, I said it to the stone. Chris, do you even use that towel? So, the thing is though, I've had to get over some of my germophobia. Why? Because Baruch Hashem, some of you probably saw him. We had a baby a few months ago. My husband and I. His name is Yosef. He's a big bracha. Yeah, he's in the other room we brought a babysitter, because when you're gonna get up and try to like focus when you have a crying baby, it's impossible. Like, you can't. I don't know what it is. It's like something Hashem builds in you. One of my friends was saying, actually, there's something about how like the baby cries, and even if your husband is like closer to the crying and he's sleeping, it will like go over his head and into your ear. And it's a really true thing.
He doesn't.
So anyway, the germ thing, I've had to become less germophobic, because here's the thing about babies. They don't care about your germophobia at all. Okay, like adults, if they have a cough or a cold, they, a baby, like, in your face, like, you're coated with, like, wetness from his face, but it's okay, because he's my baby, and it's cool, I'd like to share something funny. So last year, like the skit you just saw, there was something similar last year, and it was called Are You Ready to Be a Mother? And I was in last year's porn spiel as well, and I had just found out that I was expecting, and I was like, oh, me! And we weren't telling anyone yet. This is really funny. I knew, and I'm like, Hashem, this is so funny, no one knows. I came in last place. Just gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. I was like, this is so funny, and I left, and I'm like, The thing is, you don't actually have to be qualified to be a parent. Like, have you noticed this? My brother pointed this out so eloquently. You need no qualification. Okay, to drive a car, you need to take a test and get a license. To be a massage therapist, you need to get some kind of certificate, like get some letters after your name. To be a parent, you have to go to the hospital, spend 2 days there, feel like you've been in a train wreck, and then they hand you a little bundle and say, Hatzlacha, try not to drop them. That's basically the situation. And my husband and I have no background, because like as BTs, we have one sibling that we did not take care of. So we walk into the Tinokia, which is like the nursery, and we're like, hi, can you show us how to like, the thing that goes on the baby, the diaper? Yeah. Can you show us how to do that? So that was us in the hospital. But Baruch Hashem, you figure things out slowly. I decided to have a baby in Jerusalem, mainly because my husband is doing a smicha program currently. I didn't want to mess up his program by going back to America, which was what my Yetzer Hara was like screaming to do, because I was rather nervous. I don't speak Hebrew, really. I'm going to let that sink in as well. Being pregnant with no Hebrew. So I had a lot of interesting adventures, which I will get into. The thing about being pregnant at the beginning and not telling anybody is that it's really hard, because some of you might know this, some of you might not, but pregnancy at the beginning is often laden with a lot of nausea, a lot of unpleasant, sudden nausea, okay? So I'm in situations where someone's like, do you want to have lunch with me? I'm like, yes, I would love to come have some egg salad with you. I am about to throw up all over myself. Would you excuse me? But yeah, you just kind of think that. You don't say it. The wonderful thing, though, about the Frum community, which in case you don't know yet, this is a good thing to know, people don't talk about you being pregnant often unless you talk about it first. Because they don't know if you're talking about it. They don't know if you're like trying to be related to Nua and stuff. So you could walk into a kiddush on Shabbos, 9 months pregnant with quadruplets, like out to here, and people will be like, good Shabbos, what belly? I don't see a belly. I see no belly. Do you want some challah? Did I mention I don't see a belly? I see no belly at all. But it gets to a point where you actually want people to know, because when you're pregnant, you can get away with anything. I kind of miss it. Like, you can't get away with the same stuff when you have a baby outside as when you have a baby inside. I went grocery shopping, and I decided I needed ice cream immediately. The thing about pregnant cravings is that it's kind of like having to go to the bathroom really badly. Like, you can't wait an hour. Like, you need it now. So I was like, I want ice cream, and it was like, I can buy a box and take it home. I was like, I need ice cream right now. And I was in the middle of shopping, and Baruch Hashem, they had one of those Magnum, freezers with the like giant enticing chocolate, like that. So I was like, I'm gonna take one. So I took one. And as I'm shopping, I was happily slurping, my Magnum the whole way through the store. And I get to the cash, and I gently slide my empty wrapper, completely licked clean stick towards the cashier along with the rest of my groceries. She looks at it quizzically, and then she looks at me, and I go, and she goes, I loved it. So yeah, a lot of interesting adventures on the light rail too, because everyone knows about this rule of like the don't talk about being pregnant. You gotta be like pretty beach ball-y for someone to actually stand up. But when you want a seat, you want a seat, especially when you're tired. Like pregnancy is exhausting. Like my husband would say, "Oh, what'd you do today?" I'm like, "Okay, well, I went to the Macolet, bought a bunch of fruit, had to stop on a bench on the way home because I was too tired to make the 7-minute walk. Then I ate all the fruit. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So yeah, you're exhausted. So on the light rail or the bus, if you want someone to offer you a seat, you got to make it obvious that you're pregnant. So you can thank me later. You can use this tactic yourself. You're at the right time. It's called the pat and squint. You pat your belly like in a very obvious way as though you're pregnant, and you squint like you're tired, like. Every time. It works every time. And you know what? If someone doesn't get up because it's Israel and everyone's family, they'll be like, "Mozart!" And someone will get up. It's great. So many adventures with the whole like language barrier and just other stuff, like culturally, you know. So I went for my ultrasound at 20 weeks, which is when they do like a detailed picture of the baby. And I was excited because my friends had told me there's this one guy that speaks English. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to actually know what's happening. Because like the rest of the time, they give you these requisitions. And I'd call him like, I need to book a Skira 83. I don't know what this says because it doesn't have vowels. So yeah, so I was really excited to get to this English-speaking guy, and sure enough, I go in, and you know, he's got all this ultrasound equipment, and he's speaking English to me, and I'm getting really excited, like I'm actually gonna hop, you know what's going on. And then I said, "Do you think you could speak English, like when you look, so I know?" And he goes, "Okay, so you see the other the technician over there, she does not speak English, and she needs to write what I say. So, I will every time something is good, I will say Baruch Hashem, and you will know it's beseder." So the ultrasound looks like this. Rosh Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So yeah, so I knew everything was fine. That was good. Also, like I said, I was exhausted all the time. So I took a lot of taxis, which are expensive. But like when walking from your room to the fridge becomes a chore, taxis become not a luxury but a necessity. And so you get to learn things when you spend a lot of time in taxis, and that is. Yerushalayim taxi drivers are basically Rebbeim in disguise. Like they all secretly have smicha and they just drive around to like insert Devorah Torah into the everyday lives of citizens. That's my theory. So I was in this one taxi with a driver. He was like super like spiritual and was going on and on about this stuff, and I was trying to listen, but I was a little nauseous because I was pregnant. So I said, "You know, do you think you could turn on the muzgan?" And I was proud because I knew the word, like I knew a Hebrew word, the muzgan, okay? So the driver proceeds to roll down the windows, letting in the breeze, does this with his arms, which you can do while you're driving when you're Israeli. Says, as the breeze is passing through, "Zeh hamazgan shel Hashem." And I was like, that is so beautiful. I'm still really nauseous though, so if you could turn on the actual muzgan, that would be labor.
Oh God.
Labor. Yeah, so you watch TV, right, and it's like the screaming women in pain and whatever. It's, you know, it's true. What they don't tell you about, but it's great. It's worth it. I would do it. One of my friends said I would do it 10 times over for my kid. I get that now. Like I would, you know, Baruch Hashem. The thing that they don't tell you though is that most women at some point in their life have experienced some version of PMS. It's like that, but just on steroids. Because your body has so much going on, like hormones and endorphins and stuff. Like all these personalities that you didn't know you had just come out, okay? And of course my labor was quite quick and dramatic, which shouldn't shock you, you know, getting to know me right now. So one of my personalities that came out, it was like a rude, entitled guest at a restaurant. Okay, we get to the hospital, and I had pre-registered at great lengths. It was was exhausting. I had to like go, cause you know, you have to go to Misrad Hapanim, you need like 3